All right, so finishing out chapter 2, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at arrays, which are variables that can hold more than one value. And the way it does this is it creates slots within the variable name and stores your data there. So we're going to do a quick little script. It's a little nonsensical, but we are going to go ahead and create an HTML document. And we are going to name this one husband picker. Whoops, title. And what we'll do is we'll create an array with husbands, potential husbands in it, and we will ask the user to enter their favorite number between 1 and 10, and we will then go into the array and select whatever husband is located at that spot. So again, not the most useful thing in the world, but it's going to show you how to populate an array, and it's also going to show you how to retrieve things from an array. So let's set up a variable and say their num is equal to whatever we prompt them. Enter your favorite number. And let's actually have some HTML outside of this because we need a script tag too. So I'm going to come in with my H1. I'm going to say, view your future. I told you, it's nonsensical. So we're going to open up our script tag. Don't forget your script tag like I did on the last one and tried to do on this one as well. All right, so we're going to ask them to enter their favorite number, and we're going to store it in a variable named their num. So that's just a regular old variable like we looked at in the earlier example. So now what we're going to do is we're going to var the husband array, and we're going to set it equal to empty brackets because we're going to go ahead and populate this manually so you can see how it works. And I'm going to do a little bit of copy and pasting so you don't have to be tortured by my typing more than normal. So we're going to do var, or we're just going to not var, we're going to set up husband array in the one spot is going to be equal to John. I'm going to make up people. Husband array in the two spot is going to equal George. And let's copy and paste this a couple of more times. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to come in and just change these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I want to point out something before we go on. Because I left this blank, I was allowed to choose my indexes to start with 1. Because I'm going to tell my user to enter their favorite number from 1 to 10. Now, if we had just put in our name values here, separated, surrounded by double quotes and separated by commas, we need to be careful because one thing that you need to remember when an array is created, the first slot in the array is actually numbered 0. So if we had not manually done this with 1 through 10 and had actually just sorted them out inside that initial set of brackets, we would have had husband array 0 equal John on down to husband array 9 equals whatever my last one's going to be. Now I have to think of 10 names. Let's see. Ringo. Let's see. Bill. And Obama. And we already have a George W. Bush, so we can't use him. So we'll use Donald, and still running out of people. So Mark, and there's Jason, and there's Art. All right, one of these is actually my husband, so we'll see if I can name my real husband. All right, so now what we have is we have an array named husband array, and we have 10 different values stored into that. And this right here is the index of the array. So this is what's in the 1 slot, the 2 slot, the 3 slot, and so on. Remember, if I were populating normally, there would be a husband array 0 spot as well, and we will have 100 examples later on where that is the case. So if I want to retrieve something out of this array, all I have to do is tell it which slot to go into. And so what we'll do is we'll ask them what their favorite number is from 1 to 10. We'll store that in the variable their num, and we'll tell it to write out whatever is in the their nums spot in the husband array. So it'll look something like this. We'll say document.write, you are going to marry, space, and we'll concatenate on. Go into the husband array in the their num slot, retrieve whoever stored there, and concatenate that in. So I'm going to just put an exclamation point on it because I'm excited about that marriage. So I need to move my cat out of the way because I can't see the code I'm writing. So what happens is document.write literally puts you are going to marry space. It goes into the husband array and it retrieves the slot number that matches up to their variable. So if they put 5 in for the prompt, 5 is now substituted in. So it tells it to go to the husband array, find the 5 slot, retrieve Bill, and then add an exclamation point on it. So let's go ahead and save this as husband picker for some reason, .html. We'll go ahead and save that. We'll go back over to our browser and do a Control O for open. We'll to our husband picker, and we will say our favorite number is 8. Behind the scenes, it's going to go into the 8th slot on that array, and it's going to tell me that you are going to marry Mark. So that is how a single array works. There are some more examples of how to populate and how to retrieve things from the array, and then your chapter 2 also goes into multi-dimensional arrays where you can store more than one thing. So we could have husband array John, but also tack on their middle name and their last name and have it still all associated together, kind of like a mini database table in our array. So that's the last example for chapter 2. We're going to go ahead and move on in the next one. Chapter 3, we're going to start looking at decision making and loops.